Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on leadership. It's such a pleasure to have all of you here today, and I hope you are ready for an action-packed session. My name is Candice Hastie, and I'm the owner of Hastie Consulting. I am your business accountability partner. Today is the fourth webinar in our series. We are looking, as I said, at leadership because it is one of the most important aspects of dealing with our businesses. We are all business owners and we are in charge of everything. We need to know what's going on. We need to be able to communicate with the rest of our teams, and we need to be able to do it in such a way that people who work for us want to come along with us on the journey to reach our goals. This webinar, as I said, is part of a series towards our main goal, which is business at the speed of change. Things are changing all the time. And as business owners, we need to upskill ourselves. We need to stay up to date, and we need to know what's going on out there in the world so that we can stay ahead of the pack when it comes to business. As with the previous webinars, this session will be recorded. So if you have missed it, or if you find that you picked up some really good tips and want to go back to them, please go across to our YouTube channel, Hastie Consulting, and you will find all the recordings as well as snippets from the different webinars that we have run, and you will be able to follow us, see what's coming up, and go back and listen to any of the other sessions. Our focus today, as I said, is leadership. And one of the things that I'm asked most often is, what makes a good leader? What skills do I need? How do I get my staff to do what I need them to do? Will my staff ever be as passionate as I am about my business? How do I keep them inspired? How do I keep them looking at the business and being involved the same way as I am involved? That is why we have our guest speaker, Belinda, here today, and she's going to be talking to us about all things leadership. A couple of quotes that I've pulled out just to get you in the mindset for today. Leadership is more than just giving orders and making decisions. Leaders need to guide and inspire their team. They need to empower them and uplift them so that they can reach their true potential. Leadership is simple. If you want people to follow you, you need to be going somewhere. So it is important that you as a leader have a very clear idea of what your vision is for your business and what your goals are for the business. And 9 times out of 10, these are based on what you are looking for in your life. So if you don't have a clear vision and purpose for your own life, it makes it very difficult for you to build that vision and direction for your business. Your business is like a ship. And if you are not captain of the ship, your staff might take over and run it the way they want. They might not do anything and your ship might run aground. So it is important to have a very clear vision, and you need to be able to focus that vision and tell it in a way that people can aspire to it, they can identify with it, they can get excited about it, and they can join you in your vision with your passion to help you reach your goals and to help you get to where you're going. Because a lot of people want to be part of your, they want to be part of something, but they don't always have their own goal. They don't always have their own vision. So if you've got a really great vision and you are a great leader, your team are going to want to join you in reaching your goals. They want to be part of it. And not unbelievably, but believe it or not, work is one of the few places where people can define a sense of purpose. So many people, when you chat to them and they say, hi, how are you? Tell me what you do. Tell me about yourself. 9 times out of 10, they tell you that they're someone's parent, or they tell you about their job, because their job is the one place where they feel like they belong, they have a purpose, they know exactly what is expected of them. So a person's job ties into their identity to quite a large extent. So we are going to be looking at all things leadership. As I mentioned, I have our guest host today is Belinda Lentz. She is a colleague and a friend. I have done quite a lot of work with her over the years, and she is a very, very passionate person. She has a thirst for knowledge, and if you've read her bio, you will know that she has studied various fields. She's got degrees under her belt. She has traveled, and she is a wealth of knowledge and experience. Not only has she got a passion for knowledge, but she has a passion for business. And most importantly, she enjoys sharing her knowledge and assisting other business owners to help them succeed and grow in their own businesses. She runs a successful corporate business coaching consultancy and offers courses on leadership success skills, goal setting, relationship building, and diversity in the workplace, amongst many others. So if you have any questions for Belinda specific to what she does or about anything she's discussed with us today, then please feel free to add your questions into the chat bar, and there will be time allocated for Belinda to address any of the questions that you have. So, Belinda, we are looking forward to hearing what you have to offer us today, those tips and techniques and special skills that we as business owners can develop to help us become better leaders in our own businesses and grow from strength to strength. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Candice. I really appreciate the time as well given to me here today, and for Hastie Consulting actually asking me to be present. Thank you. What a great idea this is. I absolutely love it. I'm very passionate about speaking about leadership too. It is something that I developed over the years and realized that with leadership qualities, you can get so far in the world. And part of that leadership quality is actually believing in yourself. Now, I find with most of my coaching, most people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can achieve. So I have quite a motto of believe you can achieve, which is very corny in a way, but it's actually so true, because if you believe your inner being that you can achieve, you will achieve. Believe me. Ask me. I've done many things in my life as well, different things, and I just find life so invigorating. And it all boils down often to leadership. And one of the main things that I actually learned over the years is not to be a boss, but to be a leader. So I always say not bosses, but leaders. And I follow that to the T, because to be a leader inspires one and inspires the people around you. And you can't be a leader unless you're pulling everybody with you and also motivating people to get above you. You can't just be, I want to be the boss all the time and I want to be at the top. You have to pull people. And years ago, actually in Pretoria, I was chair lady of the Women's Business Institute there, and I won Corporate Business Woman of the Year, because one of the main things that I did was inspire people below me to get above me. And that is your key to leadership as well. I think it's so, so important. So, I'm going to address a few things with you and just hopefully leave these little nuggets, gold little nuggets, that you can actually ask me questions on. You can take away, analyze, you can contact us later on, anything like that. It's so important for you as a human being as well to realize who you are and what you are and where you are in your life. Now, be it a different age, your different ages also tell to different maturity. Of course it does. And I just believe if you go and you take a list and you ask, and it's been done many times, ask people across corporate worlds to actually list sort of all competencies of leaders. Courage often comes out in all of those, most of the time. It's an undenying factor that actually follows right through. It's like a thread. And that courage is to believe in yourself, to believe in your employees, and to believe in your goals. Now, as a leader, if you don't have goals, and Candice mentioned it before, where are you going to go? You have this lovely business, and you have employees below you, and you have this goal in your head that you are following, but you don't relay this goal down to the people below you. How are you ever going to achieve your goal? Because you can't achieve your goal on your own. You need to actually pull the people with you to achieve that goal. And that is one of the biggest leadership qualities to me that is available. I actually have done it in different areas of corporate, become number one. And that was basically because I pulled the people with me and I taught them what my goal was and where we could go. And that we is a very, very big word in actual fact, because when you are the boss of a business, you can't just be the boss. Like I said, you have to actually have a we below you, and that we is everybody involved with you. So you'll find a lot of people say, oh, but I can't be a leader. Leaders are born. That's not true. Leaders are not born. You all have leadership qualities within you, buried in you, and it's situational leadership in actual fact that develops. So you will find suddenly you're in a situation and suddenly these leadership qualities start coming out and manifesting themselves. And you're thinking, wow, everybody's following me. They're listening to me. And that's the important part. And open to change. So you as the leader need to adopt change. And that change is very hard for a person often to do. Everybody's in their little bubble, in their little comfort zone, circulated like that in the bubble, and it's, oh wow, I'm very happy in here, I love it in here, I'm scared to take that step out. And that is the change that you've got to adapt to. And everybody's fearful of change. I'm fearful of change. Candace is fearful of change. Everybody's fearful of change. Of course we are. That's our human nature, but it's how we handle the change. So if I take things, I've got like so much to tell you in so little time. If I look at things and we look at these qualities that you admire in, say, a leader, if I ask you to list qualities now that you say a leader should have, I'll be very surprised what you do. And take your pen quickly if you've got it and just jot down as we chat as well. And then I'm going to ask you, that's what you think a leader should be. Then I'm going to ask you to put in another column, what do you think you are as a leader? And see if you can match up a lot of those little points that you've written down. And you'll most probably find, if you really do a self-analysis, wow, I really need growth in different areas. You know, nobody's perfect. Let's face it. We all need leadership qualities all the time, and we need to develop ourselves. And that's what makes it so awesome, and life's so awesome. So it's so exciting, actually, just to get involved and find out who you are, what you are. What are my leadership qualities? Okay, I might not like it if I ask somebody else, which is a very good way to actually get a very good, honest answer. Ask your best friend, who doesn't matter, that they're not scared to tell you the truth. Ask them to tell you, what do they think you are? And you'll be surprised what comes out. And also, what are your positives and your negatives with leadership? Because you want to run your business, but you want your employees to come with you. Now I can say, employees often say they want trust, they want honesty, integrity, enthusiasm. Are you warm, or are you a cold fish? Do you just walk into the office and blurt everything out, go and sit at your desk because you've got so much to do and it's all piling on you because you don't know how to be a leader and actually to outsource most of your things as well? And that is a big thing, outsourcing, which is a topic for another day totally. Are you calm, or are you hyper? Are you exciting when you walk in as well? Do you inspire them when you walk in? All right. I mean, if I get a boss and he walks in the door here and he's all grumpy and not happy and not very with it there today, and he's had a bad experience out there, but I didn't have a bad experience and I'm now getting everything that he's exuding onto me, it's not good for you as an employee, is it? You're going to look at this and think, why should I be here? Am I buying into this business? Am I not? And then you want a boss who's tough, but fair, of course, fair across the board, and also has empathy, because there are times when you need a boss with empathy, and be it man, woman, whatever, it doesn't matter. All this applies universally across the board. So if I look at you here, and I thought I'd just discuss and take a little time as an employee, you're going to look for an employee now. You're the boss, hopefully the leader and not really the boss, but at the moment you're sort of the boss because you are actually recruiting. How are you recruiting? What are you looking for? Are you going to recruit an agency? Are you just taking somebody who walked in the door? Maybe it's a retail business, maybe it's a selling business, whatever it is. Who are you looking for? Have you got your criteria in place? One thing you need to do is really list and be sure, what do I want to employ? Who do I want to employ? When I say what, it's meaning, do I want to employ a person with integrity? Of course I do. Do I want to employ a person who has the aptitude to actually advance? Of course I do. And that's what the what covers, which is very important. Who is it man, woman? What is it? Who, you must decide. So it's no good going out and saying, oh, I need a position here, and off you go on Facebook, like everybody does, which fascinates me quite a bit. I need an employee for this job, and here's a criteria, only definite employees, please send me your CV. And then you won't hear from me if I don't like your CV. Now, do you think that's polite? I don't think it's polite. I really don't. I don't think it's nice either. I look at it and I just think, really? Go to a recruitment agency rather, or fashion something, go to some professional and fashion something that you're saying, proper CV and a notice onto Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever it is that you use, any medium, that you actually state very clearly what you need, because you're going to get maybe inundated with CVs and you've got to work your way through those. So if you don't know, as the boss and the leader of your business, where you want to go, what are your goals? Where are your goals? Where do you want to be in a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? Where do you want to be with your business? You are going to recruit the wrong people. And remember, I always say that recruit cheap, you're going to get cheap. Okay, there's another saying which I'm not allowed to say, but it's cheap to cheap, I always say, because everybody, of course, doesn't want to pay a lot of money. They have to survive in their business. You needed to have run your budget, worked it out, and to see, what can I afford in my business, and how sort of can I structure my salary scales? And there's help needed. You can chat to Candace about that with her business consulting. How can I afford and do my budgets correctly so that I know who I can afford and the quality of person I can afford, which is very important. Because here I recruit somebody, I bring them in, and then I find out, oh, actually this person isn't that great. And he hasn't got any acumen. They can't do mathematics, and mostly in sales and recruitment. And we're all in sales. Be it a doctor, dentist, an accountant, you are selling yourself. Everybody is in sales. You are selling your practice. You are selling your front desk. So if you're going to put a receptionist in there who can't add, she might actually do wrong timings for your appointments, things like that. So have they got business acumen, mathematical acumen? It's so important to look at different things like that. Their skill, their level of education. Now, we know that there's a problem with the level of education. So we need to address it. Mathematics has not been pushed forward a lot in our country. So we need to make sure the people we employ are of the aptitude that you can actually do your business. And where do they come from? How long does it take them to get to work? That's a big factor in South Africa today. Are they catching a taxi? Or have they got their own car? Be it whoever it is, how long does it take them to get to work? And because if there's a delay, maybe they don't open your shop door in time. Be what it is. And if you're not hands-on enough, you won't know that your shop's closed. So it's very important to address these different factors. I always think as well here with it. And I always say the skill of your employee is the most important. Communication is so important. Do you know, I've walked into shops before to go and buy things. And I try and support local wherever I am, as I believe we all should in South Africa, and we can become very prominent and leaders in the industry this way, very much so. And I've seen people lying on counters, looking at their cell phones, sleeping, whatever. Now, why are they doing that? This is your business. Do you know that your employee is actually doing that? So who did you recruit? Did you assess them quick enough? Did you look at them? Did they greet me when I walked in? A lot of them go, or, that's all you get. It's the most amazing thing to me. And I think, I'm the person who's coming to spend money to keep your job. Okay, but now comes the thing. It's not their fault. It's the employer's fault, because the employer has not trained that person correctly. They've employed somebody who does not have the acumen to understand what is needed when that client walks through the door. Be what it may, be it a doctor's surgery, your front desk is your PA desk, your secretarial desk, whatever it is, the person who makes appointments. If they're not polite and nice to you, are you really going to go back to that doctor? I don't want to go back. I don't want to experience something unpleasant when I walk in the door. I want something pleasant. That's why upskilling your employees is so important. Have you set aside budget money for that? Where you need to know that you need to actually invest in your employees and who you're going to invest with, who you're going to use. Are you going to send them on a course to upskill them? How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? Did you just throw them in at the deep end and say, oh, there we go. There's the toll, there's the counter, or there's the booking book, carry on. Then you wonder why the wheels fall off of your business at the end of the day. It's called planning and strategy. Strategy is so important in your business as a leader too. You cannot be a leader unless you have strategy and you plan. And they always say, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And sometimes that's very true, because you need to know where you are going and what you're doing. Then it comes to this employee. How much am I going to invest in this employee? So I've now recruited her or him, be what it may, and I need to know, am I going to upskill this person? Do I want them to become a junior manager one day as I grow, as my business grows, as I get more employees? Maybe this is the person I really need to invest in. And if I need to invest in them, I need to then send them on training, because it's only fair for that person to get trained on what I would like them to be doing in the future and the standard I would like them to attain. Okay. So we come in here with the buy-in actually of your employees into your business. They don't know where you are going, what you are doing. How can you ever expect them to actually buy into your business? You know, if they know, they think, well, right, here I am. Maybe I'm just a shop assistant now. I'm behind the counter doing whatever I am. But I know that this person is actually going to have quite a few branches eventually. And they're going to need a manager for those branches. They're going to need help. There's no ways they can run from branch to branch to branch and cover all those aspects in one go. And that's where it comes so important that you are actually employing the correct person and you're upskilling that person. Is that person able to actually do the upskilling as well? Or are you just investing in somebody who you're not going to give you anything in the end? Because they need to give back to you as well. They can't just take from you all the time. It doesn't work like that. If you are the leader, you're empowering your people to work for you. And by empowering them, you are getting that feeding into your business and the buy-in that you want. And they are happy to come to work. And when the person walks through the door, they say, wow, it's so lovely to see you. Thank you for visiting our shop here. How can I help? Please shout. I just need to know, are you browsing? Are you looking for something specific? I can help you in any way you need. You know, what a pleasure. And I say to the person, wow, thank you so much. That's absolutely awesome. Lovely to be in your shop. I'm going to browse. And then once I've seen what I want, I'm going to actually most probably call you over and ask you some questions. Is that okay? And in that way, you've got this rapport happening and this communication. What am I going to do? I'm going to go back to that shop again and again and again. And that's the repeat business that you actually want. So we can't dump people in a position in our businesses and expect then our businesses to flourish. Our businesses are not going to flourish at all. And everybody, I laugh at them because they say, oh, I can't pay the rent, I'm battling, I'm going to have to downsize, cut my shop in half. It's why are you having to do that? You shouldn't need to do that. Not in South Africa today. We're way past COVID. People are earning salaries. There's lots of unemployment out there. We need to employ and upskill people. I'm passionate about it, very passionate, because I've seen so many people not have a job who have such an aptitude, but just not been given the gap. So we need to be able to open those gaps and employ these people. But to do that, we also need buy-in into our business, like I keep saying to you. That buy-in is crucial, very, very crucial. I always say, like I said, cheap is cheap as well. And remember that, please. I'm very, very sort of pedantic about that, because people fail because they employ cheap. And you know what? That poor person who's working in your shop, who's actually bringing in the income for you so that you can maybe go for a haircut, or go fly fishing for the day, or take a day off, or whatever it is, okay? That person is actually helping you get the income to survive. So you need to really take that person and say to him, what can you give back to me in this business of mine? How can I bring you with me all the way? And how can I lift your lid as well? Lifting the lid is something very unique. Lifting the lid is, we all tend to reach a point in our businesses, in an area where we actually think, okay, like, I've achieved, I've arrived. But you haven't arrived in actual fact. You have only half arrived, believe me, because this lid sitting here, and it's not the glass ceiling, that's a different subject. This is a lid. This is your mentality lid that sits here. And you thinking, this is as far as I can get, but you can't. You can go further. You need to learn to lift that lid yourself as a leader so that you can help your staff lift their lids. And in that way, they will then contribute more to your business as well. So it's a very different concept to consider and think of. You know, we're so busy in South Africa just employing and just not thinking further about that person. And they come to work thinking, well, that's my paycheck. I'm just going to sit here, do what I got to do. I'm not going to, 4 o'clock, I'm going to lock up and go. I'm not prepared to give the extra 5-10 minutes or half an hour, because nobody cares. So it comes down again now to actually, what does your employee want from you? And that's a very important question to ask, because we always say, you know, do this, do that, what we want the employee below us to do. But that's the wrong way around. To get their buy-in and to be a true leader, you've got to ask, what do they want? And if I look, people at work often want respect. People just want a little basic respect in life of who they are. They want to be listened to. If they have an idea, often it's a very, very good idea that you haven't thought of, because they're on the floor and they think, and they're on the ground with your business, and they think, but I could do this differently. But you know what? If you haven't got empathy and you haven't got their buy-in, they're not going to come to you and suggest something. And that could be a key point in your business to take it to the next level and lift all your lids and increase your revenue. Because that's what we all want at the end of the day, is increased revenue, so we can all live a nice life. But we all have to live that nice life. The bosses, the leaders can't just live the nice life. Your staff have to as well. So they want to be treated nicely as an individual and be thought of as an individual. You know, if they come 5 minutes late to work, maybe there was a holdup on the road, you know, or something. Often people get very agitated and upset. It's not the way to handle it. You need to know why they were held up first. And do we actually say, why were you held up? Or was there a problem coming to work? Or are you okay? You know what I mean? Maybe they crashed their car. You don't know, or dented it, or somebody bumped into them and made them late. But what sometimes people do is they just go, wow, immediately, without taking that step back and thinking, let me find out first why they are late or why they are doing what they do. And that makes such an important part to buy in of your employee to the employer, basically at the end of the day. And they also want a leader that helps them to understand their work. And that's where the training comes in. Nobody ever wants to spend that extra bit of money on training. And I've trained junior to senior managements. I've trained people into CEOs of their companies, of different companies. Some are on set salaries, some are their own companies as well. And it's just amazing to see, with that self-confidence and that caring, and wow, my employer cares enough to spend this money on me to actually get more qualified. And that's just amazing. And usually in my coaching, I say, well, where do you want to go? Do you want to study further? And I initiate a studying program for them, because, and I get the employers buy-in with it, because that will retain your actual staff to you at the end of the day. So it's so important. And they also want to understand how important they are to your organization. Don't be scared to say to somebody, you're really important to me. You're important in my organization. I need you in my organization. Everybody thinks, the minute you say that, they're going to say, I want more money. I want this, I want that. Okay. But it doesn't have to be like that. It depends on your relationship with your employees as well. And also, they want to know that the leader who comes to work is true. It's not just a different person that walks in that door. They want to know that this person is truthful, ethical, and that cares for them. That in itself is such a buy-in for your employee. It's so important. Also, does my leader or my boss treat me fairly? They want to be treated fairly. It's important. Is there a supportive network around you? Can you go to somebody to discuss a problem? Are they open? Maybe it's just a 2-man band. Maybe it's a 10-man band in your business. You've got to have a form of reporting in a way that the person can go to somebody to chat. Because people need to chat. People have problems at home. And those problems need to not be brought into your work sphere, hopefully, because that can influence their reaction to your customers as well. So if they know you care, and you will spend the time with a cup of coffee in the morning, chatting, maybe 10 minutes, little chat, all meet at 7:45, sit down by 7:50. By 8, we open our doors, but we've had a cup of coffee and a chat. And just incorporate that into their salaries, the time. You'll find that you actually get far with that person because you care. You have empathy and you actually care. They want to know, can they connect to their colleagues as well? Is there a connection if there's a few people? So it's very important that your whole work is symbiotic together and that you're all working towards the same goal. That comes in leadership. You are the employer. You are the leader. You need to lead with this. You can't just let them all muddle along behind you. It doesn't work. And that's why your businesses fail at the end of the day. So one is upskilling all the time, adding different little facets. I always say, here's the person in a circle. Add your little lines into that so that you've got a whole sharp sphere around it, basically. It comes with the inner circle, which is a different story. Person you really trust that you're bringing into you, and you're buying into them and they're buying into you and your business. All right, it's important because say you are knocked down tomorrow as well, or you're in a big accident, you land up in hospital, who's going to run your business? Do you have a reliable person that will step into your shoes? And if you do, are you paying them sufficiently to do that? Or is it cheap again? I love the word cheap because everybody just wants to go cheap. Okay. And at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to grow your business unless you've actually got that buy-in. And it comes down, and I say buy-in, over and over. They need to be made to feel part of the team as well. They buy into your business. They buy into your goals. Hopefully you know where they are. Like I've said, you need your goals. You need your strategy. But you've got to get them all to buy in that with you, so that you're all on the same page. You're not on different pages. And you have to step down from this boss, I'm the boss, what I say goes, into a leadership role, which is incorporating people into you, incorporating what they think, how they feel. Can we discuss things? I have a great idea. Like I said, it's so important. Bring them into your sphere, bring them into your circle, allow them in. And in that way, you will get such buy-in into your company. And you will find you will grow and grow. People will come on time. They won't cut time. They will deal with the people walking in the door fantastically, be what it may, dentist, doctor, accountant, whatever it is. We're all in the sales game at the end of the day. We're selling our services in some form. And people who say, I'm not in sales, are wrong. We're all in sales. Isn't it crazy? Yeah? I mean, we go into a shop and we buy, and that everybody in that shop is in sales to make us buy. We go to the dentist, that front desk and the dentist is in sales, because if I'm not happy, I'm not going to come back. Are you? I don't think so. If he's going to hurt you, same as a doctor, if he doesn't listen to me or she doesn't listen, I'm not going to go back. They in the sales game. So I use them as analogies and examples so that you can understand we all need to sell our services. We all need to have a strategy where we're going and to know where we're going. Visions and goals. Visions and goals are so important. We can't just tootle along in life. We've got to know, what do we want to do? Are we just going to go to work, mundanely, open the door, let our staff work, go home? Sure you're not. I'm sure you want a fancier house or a bigger car, or you want your staff to be happy. All that is your vision and your goals at the end of the day. And they have to believe in your vision and your goals. That word believe is buy-in. If they don't believe and buy into those two, you can forget it. You're not going to ever really succeed. You're going to have a staff turnover, which is going to cost you a lot of money. And you don't want that. You want to keep your staff because it's costly. That staff has cost you a lot of money. And if you train that staff, you want to hold that staff to you. You want them to be there in the next 5, 10 years as you grow in your business. You have the vision. They have to buy into your vision, come with you on that journey. So you're not walking alone on that journey. As a leader, you are working and walking together on that journey, on that road. And if you can see yourself like that, you can become a great leader. Because, you know, be open always to suggestions. People around you have great ideas, better ideas than you do often, believe me. I've been subjected to that. I listen very much. I listen to what they say. I absorb what they say. I question what they say. Then I think, wow, that could actually benefit my business fantastically. And I love to outsource stuff. I'm lazy as hell. Okay, because that's what you must look at as a leader. I mean, be lazy. Outsource to competent people that you have brought into your business and that have bought into your business. You can outsource. That's a true leader. A leader isn't running around like a headless chicken. A leader is actually managing everything from an upside area, looking down, but everybody's actually doing their jobs because you've empowered the people. Empowering is a huge subject as well, to empower the people.
Yeah,
right
definitely.
Below you. It's really huge. Candace,
on that note, while you're busy talking about that, one of the questions that's come in says, and I think you've kind of answered it, but maybe you can just touch on it again, is when it comes to investing in team members, as a leader, how do I overcome the fear of losing these staff over time? Thinking of this person says, I'm thinking about putting in the work that we've put into them, the cost, the time, the effort, the
everything. It's buy-in at the end of the day. Buy-in.
I think,
you know, if you haven't brought that person into your business and they don't understand your vision, your strategy, and your goals, where you're going, and that they are going to go there with you. Don't forget, they're very scared. They're scared you're going to close your business tomorrow. You're going to toss them out the door tomorrow, and they're going to lose their job. I mean, how many jobs are getting lost today? So you need to look at it and you need to reassure them and say to them, you are part of my business, and share financials. Why shouldn't you share financials as well? I mean, there is a time to share and a time not to share. I do agree with that. But don't be scared to make them understand that actually they're helping bring the money in that helps pay these salaries. And if this happens, in the end, you will all have work and have jobs. So you're pulling them into you, making them into your little circle here, advising them, telling them you're part of my business. This is where we're going. I am not going to chuck you out the door tomorrow. You can go buy that car and that HP payment if you really need to do it, or I'll help you save for a car because it's much better than doing HP. And I'll help you get what you want. But to do that, I'm going to invest time and money on you, and you need to invest the time back to me and be my employment. You can tie them in, but it's very difficult. If you're a big corporate, you can tie them into like 5 years if you help them with something, you know, a very big degree or something. Or you can tie them in and say, you're costing me X amount. A lot of the time, it's the indecisiveness of them, and you don't understand where they are in their lives. That's why it's so important when you employ somebody.
I think it came back to what you were saying right at the beginning when you said about recruiting.
That's it.
If you
Very
don't have
good.
a vision and structure and strategy in your own business, then you are unable to be clear about the kind of people that you want and that what skills they need. So when
That's
you
it.
are at the recruiting stage, if you put in the time and effort at that stage, you are going to be very clear about the person that you've chosen and invested in. Obviously, nothing is cut and dry, but I think if you've got the right person at the beginning and you started investing and building that relationship from there, you will then get to a point where you know each other, you understand each other, you've got communication channels. You're not going to just invest training and time into a person who has just started with you unless that was part of your strategy.
That's
I'm just
right.
having a look here. Nolene asked another question, which was, sorry, now my WhatsApp doesn't want to open. Hold on. There we go.
While you find that, I can just tell you, I know all my staff's birthdays. I know their children's birthdays. I know the ages of their children. I know everything about them. And that's the key as well, just to add in there.
Well, Nolene says, we get some of our team from a college after they graduate so that they can get experience in what they studied. As graduates, use about 5% of what they learned in the actual job. So yeah, she's only recruiting people at the point once they've studied what their passion is. They've got some kind of qualification. Then they're coming in to get the experience, which they can't learn while they're studying.
No, they can't. So you need to have different facets of your business, because you're going to know that person that you're bringing in will most probably move on, because they don't know where they are yet in their lives. I mean, they've just graduated. What do they know? They don't know. But if you really look after that person and really invest in that person, they might just stay for the long haul in your business. And it's not to say you can't offer shares later on in your business as well to keep people, and incentivize them that way. Incentivizing with a bonus check at the end isn't always the way to go. I don't really believe in that too much. I believe in paying more of a consistent salary and a higher salary so that the standard of living is better all over. And yes, in spoiling the staff, if it's a good year, wow, then you really spoil, and tremendous, and very nice. But you need to form that bond to make that person want to stay. And maybe, it's very unusual though, because the youth these days do move on to other jobs. You must remember that it's about sometimes a 3-year gap, but if you incentivize enough, you will find they will stay. Then they will stay for longer. They need to be happy. A person needs to be happy where they are, especially your youth. They need to be happy. So you have to understand your different generations and who you're dealing with in your age groups as to what you're doing and how you're investing in people. If you know the graduate coming in is only going to be there for basically a year to gain experience, you're going to let them gain that experience because they're going to move
along.
That's it. But if you could have tied them in, or you can tie them in, you must probably have a very good person there, because they then buy into your way, your training, your business. They understand it, and they know that they've got a job, and they know where they're going, and they know maybe
if they like the work environment.
That's it. If your work environment is very nice, it's great. And I think since COVID as well, the 8 to 5 and you must be there, and that has also moved. But then you've got the problem with the person who's working externally, who does that. Do they have the discipline? They're finding they don't have the discipline anymore to actually do the work. So now they're bringing them back into the office. So it's a very fine line between, but you can track the work the person does anyway. So you've got to understand who you're employing, the quality you're employing, and where do you want to go with your business? And do you want this person to go with you? And if you do, you need to get their buy-in.
You hang on.
That's it. You hang on to them, because they're costing you money from day one.
Okay. I think what you've just said there answers Biendra's question. She says in her case, most of the team that she interacts with have a short span intervals, say 6 months. And it is difficult for her to build a rapport with them in such a short time frame. How can they ensure that they establish trust with the staff and aim for successful engagement with them. I think you've
again,
answered some of that there.
Yeah, it comes down to leadership, and the buy-in on your business. If they're not happy and they feel they're just a number, would you stay? I wouldn't stay if I'm just a number. Eventually, you're just there. There's no loyalty staying at the end of the day, Candace. It's just, why would I waste my time? I would rather go to somebody else who cares, who has empathy, who has trust, who has loyalty, who, it comes from both sides, the trust and loyalty does. It's not just a one-way street. And that's you as a leader, not as a boss. And a lot of people are bosses, and a big difference to a boss and a leader as to how you actually handle and interact with people. I would say they need to really upskill their soft skills. And it's the soft skills side and the training side to actually keep them. Yeah, you're investing time and money in them, you need to keep them. Otherwise, you need to have tossed them immediately or not employed them and done your recruitment correctly. I don't like wasting time.
What I'm hearing here is it comes back down to whether you as a person, as you said right at the beginning, have you done the work on yourself? Have you clarified for yourself who you are as a person? What is important to you as a person? What are your goals as a person? Because without all of that clarity, you don't stand for anything. You don't. How do you tell other people to join you on a journey going to the moon and back if you don't even believe it yourself? If you don't have the passion for it, or the drive for it, or the focus to keep at it, even when it's hard going.
I see so much in businesses, and it does, because I see so much in business. Sometimes you've got tiers, levels up to the top, and the CEO at the top. When does that CEO ever step down and go and have a cup of coffee with the person on the ground? It could be your cleaner who's sweeping through your office, keeping your office clean. What an important position. It's not a rubbish position. It's a very important position, because anybody coming into that is noticing, wow, this place is really nice. And just to go and take the time to say, thank you. You really clean beautifully. I'm so happy for you, and that you're part of us, and incorporate them and sit down and have a coffee together. That buys you so much in businesses. It's the time you give your actual employees. Yeah, a lot of people think that they're above, and they're not. You're not above anybody. You've got to come down that ladder as well. Might have taken you a hard strain to get up that ladder, but you can fall very fast, I always say. So, I believe your ground person to your senior person should interact as well to a certain extent.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just before we start closing off, Denise Stassen says, what are some strategies for building trust with team members? And I think that's such a fantastic question. And I think there's so much to talk about on that topic. I think maybe we need to do another little session where we can do a recording, Denise, and we will dig deeper into that for you and share it on our YouTube channel so that you can refer back to it, and then we can open
that can take quite a time as well.
Because that is again, that's what you were saying about trust and communication is huge, and there's so many activities, there's so many ways that you can engage, put a process in place so that your staff feel that they can trust you, that you're not going to blow up if they make a mistake, that you can they can come to you with an idea, like you said earlier, or they can come to you with a suggestion. They can comment on something they've noticed when people come in the shop, this is what's happening, etc., etc. And then you could, you're not going to react badly.
I can say just a philosophy there. Everybody says team building, team building. Do you know what? Half of them don't want to do archery, don't want to climb a huge tower and go down a zip line. I've done it all. Believe me, I've done it all.
They don't want to do that.
I'm quite adventurous, so it's great. But half your team don't want to do that, so they hate being there. So that comes down to finding out what does everybody
who they are,
and who they are.
Who are they?
You
what
need
do
to
they
know
enjoy?
your employees. Then you can organize different events that suit everybody, but not to like I've climbed huge towers and gone down zip lines, and other guys have been terrified of heights. I luckily am not. But imagine that poor guy that doesn't do anything for team building. So
no, exactly. It scares the hell out of him.
Yeah. So there is a lot of ways you can instill trust, believe me. and to keep your employees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Belinda, thank you so much. It's been so awesome to hear from you and to share in your passion for your business, your passion for people. And we can see that you are definitely a person who is ready to engage with us as business owners and to help mentor us into the skill of becoming better leaders, because as better leaders, we can flourish in our businesses. So I will chat more with you after, at a later date, and we can set up that session, chat more and share some more knowledge with the people. I think they would really enjoy it. For those of you who are interested, Belinda has agreed to come on board to do a slightly more in-depth session. We're going to be calling them workshops, specifically based around our themed webinars that we've done now. So if you are interested in finding out more about our focused workshops, then send me an email. My email is candace@hastieconsulting.com. And in the subject line, add leadership. Then I will have your contact details and we will be in touch with you to send you more information about our first workshop, which is being launched on Wednesday, the 3rd of May. It's going to be a 3 or 4 hour session, and there's going to be a lot of value add, a lot of focused work, activities that you're going to engage in where you will need to have your pen and notepad and fill out your details so that you can become a better leader and work closer. Yes, you can have Candace with a capital C. That you can work closer with your staff and that you can build your business from strength to strength. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube and on email. There's also information on our website. You may have noticed over the last few hours or 24 hours that we have been updating our sites with all our new details and our upgraded logo. That is all from us, Candace Hastie from Hastie Consulting, and Belinda Lentz, your leadership guru, who is going to give us greater in-depth knowledge and advice on how to become a better leader. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thank you again to my Ladybugs team for all your support and your background work. It's been a pleasure working with you, and as you can see on the screen, that is our new logo, Hastie Consulting, Business Accountability Partner. Thanks everybody. Chat later.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.